This morning I heard about 5 or 6 shots go off, and I come outside and it's a dead body sitting on a sidewalk next to this red car, and I'm just like, what?
This mother, she was dropping off her kids at this daycare and was shot. Now, 2 kids are without a mom. What are your thoughts on that?
That's horrible.
IMPD is investigating a deadly incident that happened at a daycare on the city's near west side Friday morning. Friends and family said 32-year-old Krystal was shot while dropping her kids off. Police said there were multiple witnesses, including children, at the daycare at the time. And hours later, police were tipped off to a location of the suspect, and it led to a standoff.
It is very sad. I'm just praying for the family. I'm praying for the kids too, because I know they most definitely need it. And praying for this neighborhood because I don't understand.
Krystal was 32 years old and lived in Indianapolis, Indiana. Krystal was described by friends and family as a happy, loving person with a sweet spirit. Krystal was very ambitious. She worked at IU Methodist as an X-ray technician. Those who knew her said her presence was unforgettable. Krystal was a beautiful daughter, sister, co-worker, and friend. Most importantly, she was a great mom who loved her daughter and son. Although Krystal was described as a very bubbly and loving person, she encountered very disturbing experiences throughout her life. Krystal became a victim of DV. However, she was on the verge of establishing a life for herself and children after going through a very traumatic experience with her child's father, Orlando Mitchell. Reports didn't go much into detail about the start of their relationship. However, reports did share Orlando's violent behavior towards Krystal began when she became pregnant.
While she was 4 months pregnant with his baby. This past July, Mitchell pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of domestic battery as a misdemeanor. He was sentenced to nearly a year in jail, but the sentence was suspended. Instead, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office says he was given 1-year probation, 26-week domestic violence counseling or batterer's intervention, along with a no-contact order for Walton and her daughter. IMPD says a protective order was also in place. Those orders were violated in August due to threats. 2 arrest warrants were later issued. One in August, and on September 15th.
Sadly, these orders did not stop Orlando. By the next morning, Krystal was found deceased after dropping her children off at daycare, and several people at the scene said they spotted Orlando.
She did everything that she needed to do. She did everything to protect her children, and there was still a failure.
Police do believe that this was the result of a domestic situation. Now, of course, we're here in front of the daycare center. Things look completely different than they did at 7:30 this morning when that shooting took place. And, you know, we spoke to folks in this community and they say, of course, this is something no one is ever prepared for, but especially to have a shooting happen outside of a daycare center. It has left this entire community shaken. An entire community heartbroken.
It happened outside Charity Church Childhood Center. Krystal was dropping off her children when she was shot at multiple times. Police said there were multiple witnesses, including some of the children, that may have seen what had happened.
Dead silent, beautiful morning, standing on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I heard rounds, just boom, 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 boom. I figured it was a shooting with as many rounds that went off. Steps and looked down the street, and I seen a man fall to the ground, and that's when I realized it was shots, and I ran back in.
For someone to come up and blindside her and shoot her as she's delivering her kids to safety, to find out she's not safe. This young lady laying over there deceased, and her kids don't know that mommy's not coming home. That hits hard. It really hits hard.
Officers were dispatched around 7:20 a.m. that morning. When they arrived at the scene, Krystal was pronounced deceased. While police started investigating, children at the daycare were released through the back entrance, and parents were contacted to come pick them back up. Police received multiple descriptions of the suspect and his vehicle, and during the press conference, they described the incident as a directed attack.
Our condolences go out to the victim's family, the children and employees that have been impacted by this senseless act of violence that occurred this morning.
3 hours later, police received a tip from a person at a bus stop who called 911 to report they were near a possible suspect involved in the daycare incident. Following the call, police responded to 10th and Delaware Street downtown, which was a few miles east of the daycare. When police arrived, IMPD found 33-year-old Orlando Mitchell and the vehicle matching the description of earlier. Orlando was holding a weapon and he was ordered to put it down. What happened next is still under investigation.
Officers observed the suspect holding a rifle. Officers gave verbal commands for the suspect to drop the weapon, and at that time, officers discharged their service weapons.
Orlando was struck at least once. He is reported to be in stable condition at an area hospital. Police said they found 2 weapons with Orlando and they are currently being tested. Currently, IMPD is working with the prosecutor's office on the charges. Today, Orlando is being held without bond on 2 active domestic-related warrants. Orlando's initial hearing will not be scheduled until he is released from the hospital and transferred to an adult detention center. This investigation remains active and detectives are continuing to look for witnesses and evidence. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Office at 317-327-3475. Loved ones showed up with balloons and wore pink and white to show their support for Krystal and her family during this time.
We love you, Krystal!
Nights may seem long, but you better believe that joy will come in the morning.
Domestic violence is real. Get help. She tried. And she had to prepare us for this day.
She's accountable. She's confident. She's intelligent. She's black. She's smart. And she is well loved by all of us. The reason Krystal was a hero is because this had to happen in order to prevent some of you from going through the same exact thing.
Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad.
Domestic violence is real.
Yes, sir.
If you have friends, if you have anybody who is going through anything like this, you need to get them some help immediately.
I love my mom. She was the best mom ever.
There's no reason for have that many felonies against you and threatening a lady, your baby's mom, that you should have ever been out of jail. You were harm to her, and now we have 2 children without a mom. You know, you see it over and over again in the news, and it just keeps happening. I don't know what the answer is, but what we're doing is not working. So I hope that this will shed some light on a very dark topic.
Everyone is hoping for justice to be served for their loved one. They also hope that if anyone is in a similar situation, to get the help that they need. My heart goes out to the friends and family of Krystal right now, and I just want to wrap my arms around all the children that were there to bear witness to this incident. I pray that justice is served for her and her family. You guys, please keep these babies in your prayers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please respect the victim and the family in the comments. I love you guys dearly. And with that being said, don't forget to check on your loved ones.
The main message that I would like to have across is that domestic violence, especially when children are involved, you have children who are now parentless. You have a child whose father killed his mother.
Friends and family are calling on the justice system for change.
Krystal did all the things that she was supposed to do. So sometimes it's not that the victims need to do more, it's that the lawmakers and the policymakers, they need to do more so that an individual like this isn't available to harm someone.